We're going over day 2 of your first week in real estate so that you can sell 50 homes within the next 365 days. I'm Jonas Helbert. I'm the broker owner of Streetlight Realty, and let's dive into today's material, I guess. So one thing I want to mention is that I do try to have this conversation as if you and I are just sitting here in my office having the conversation. I'm not trying to do it in a very high quality video format. There's not a whole lot of editing. This is just me talking. So if I have a thought, I can get it out there. I think that's much more important if I overlook something as I'm kind of going over this stuff than trying to have a nice polished product. So week 1, really quickly, things you're doing in your first week. You're doing online training. You're doing role playing, reading the one thing, compiling your SOI. You're trying to get to 100. Attend weekly meetings, preparing your DYD or dominate your day sheets, track lead generation numbers. You're going to turn in lead sheets at the end of the week for review. That is something my agents would be doing. If you have no one to turn into, that's okay. I hope I'm getting a phone call. Hopefully it's not going to ruin the audio. I guess I will not know until later. So turning in lead sheets, and you must master time blocking. So you're trying to learn a little bit more about time blocking this week. It may be new to you. You may already be familiar with it. If you're already in sales, you know you got to kind of carve out that time when you're going to be prospecting for the day. So hopefully your first day went well. The big to-do is going to be recapping any of the phone calls you would have already made. Now, let me put a pause right there, because the thing that I want you to really realize and understand is you're an agent day 1, at least if you're my broker, you're already on the phones and you're already making phone calls. You have no time to lose. So if you got licensed today, found a buyer today, and got them under contract today, more than likely what you're going to be experiencing is you're not going to get a paycheck for 30 days. So if you had a golden goose of a client your first day, you're still 30 days away from a pay date. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, I already saved money. I did this and I did that. People don't realize how quickly a week goes. You'll be out of money before you know it. So it's important that we get to the prospecting right away. Online training, things you should be diving into and spending time with are going to be learning your company's CRM, the website, understanding how both you and the consumer are going to be interacting with that website. For you, I keep smacking my lips. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to stop doing that. For you, the CRM is really crucial. So mess with the website. Just, sign up as a user and just casually mess with it. But you really want to be diving deep into your CRM. Each and every day that you're making phone calls, you're going to get a little bit more acclimated to it, but you should still spend time in the evenings trying to learn something new about the CRM that you didn't already know. So that should be part of the online training. Again, if you're with Streetlight Realty, learning our website and CRM are definitely going to be a part of your training process for your first several weeks. The other part is watching any videos. If your brokerage doesn't have videos, don't not do this next part, but you're just going to have to do it manually, which is going to be learning and incorporating the disclosures and contracts into your learning process, right? In the previous video, I do mention you want to hunk and chunk it. You don't have to read the entire contract in one day. You can read a page a day. The point is, you want to make sure you understand these things. Now, for anyone who's thinking, well, I cannot possibly make a sale until I have learned and mastered disclosures and contracts and things of that nature. To that, I tell you, get with your broker, make sure they're going to be available, because you're hitting the pavement and you're going to grind it out and you're going to get sales and you're not going to wait. That's the mentality you need. If you want to be a top producing agent, that's how you got to approach this. Remember, we're not going to do anything stupid. We're not going to write contracts we don't understand. We're not going to have people sign disclosures we don't understand. What we're going to do is we're going to learn those, and hopefully by the time we have a client, we're going to know and understand and be able to explain to our clients what these documents mean. On the off chance that your sales come quicker than your learning process with the contract and disclosures, you're going to make sure you have your broker on speed dial, your team lead on speed dial, your mentor, whoever it is that's responsible for training and educating you to be a very good agent. They're going to be prepared to help you walk your client through. If that's a three-way, if that's hopping on a Zoom, if that's meeting in person, who cares? Just have that contingency plan figured out because you're going to get sales. You're going to crush it. Keep that mindset, okay? So get some online training. I like to do that type of stuff before the day really gets rolling. And then the next thing you're going to want to do, just to kind of freshen up and be ready for your sales calls, you're going to want to do role playing. Again, I mentioned it in the first video. A lot of this, I'm sorry if it seems like I'm regurgitating, but I just never know who's going to land on what video when it happens. But if you don't have someone to role play with, that's okay. Because if you remember what I said about role playing is not about remembering very specific words. It's about understanding and knowing when someone is giving you an objection that you may have an opportunity to overcome. For example, if you have a database, internet lead, whatever, let's go with an internet lead. If you have an internet lead, new or old, when you're having that conversation and you get to the point where they say something like, oh, hey, man, I just clicked on that. I'm not actually looking. I'm not ready to buy. Something to that effect. Maybe they go, oh, no, we're not buying. I was just browsing. Okay, cool, no problem. Were you getting ready to put your house up for sale, so you were just kind of curious to know what was going on in your neighborhood or your local market, whatever, it doesn't matter. And they may go, no, seriously, I was just looking. I was like, and then you can double down. I wasn't like it. I'm making this up. But you can double down with another question, right? We're not going to be aggressive. You can watch some of those other channels where they think you got to do the Glenn Ross thing and you got to be ABC and get them to sign on the line, which is dotted and da-da-da. I've done all that, been there. Just take the customer service approach, which is, okay, so it really does just sound like you probably are in the information gathering stage. What would you say your timeline is? I mean, are you trying to get something done within the next 6 months, or are you just pre-planning for something closer towards the end of the year? Stop talking. See what they say. They may say, no, I'm just looking. I'm not going to keep hammering someone to death with objection handlers. But you understand, you now know when someone says browsing, just looking for a friend. No, my wife just sent me that. I don't even know why. All those, they're all the same thing. They're them telling you, hey, I don't want to get serious yet. There's no way I'm going to commit to a realtor. So don't commit to a realtor. Just ask other questions. And that's the point of role play. You don't need to actually have a partner for that. You can do it on your own. You can find the scripts, learn the scripts, or understand the scripts, right? Because we don't have to learn scripts. We just got to be confident in what it is that we're saying. And once you've done that for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long you think is necessary, with one condition: do not role play for hours. What you're going to notice is you're going to feel good about the role play that you're doing. Or if you don't have a partner, you're going to make the excuse, I don't know that one yet. Look, buyers and sellers are not some mythical creature. You are a buyer or a seller, right? Maybe you've never bought in a house, maybe you have. But my point is, you've bought or sold something at some point in your life. You know what you want to hear if you're not quite ready. We all get the cold calls. If you were to take a cold call and someone said something to you, what would you say? Or what would you want them to say if you were like, hey, no, man, I'm just looking. I know what a lot of people are thinking, which is, well, I don't even want them to call. I don't want them to do this. I don't want them to do that. But you're not everyone. I know I get to talk out of both sides out of my mouth here. You need to be generalistic in that approach, right? Generally, what would social norms dictate is an okay thing to ask when we are pushing the envelope. Because we are, right? I'll admit that. We're pushing the envelope a little bit. But there's still things you can say, right? What you're not going to say is, oh, come on, you're not looking. You just don't want to talk to me yet, right? There are rude things to say. So for whatever that's worth, that's where you're going to want to go with this. So I think after you make your new calls on your first day, hopefully you've made enough on the first day that maybe you'll have some follow-ups. Maybe you told someone you were going to get them a CMA but didn't know how to do it, so you weren't going to do it on the phone and you couldn't get it done yesterday. So you're going to do the things that you said you were going to do to the people that you talked to yesterday after you've made today's calls. New calls, as crazy as it sounds, are always the most important. Any new lead generation activity that you do, think of that as think of that as your faucet. So we can turn the faucet on today. We need water every day. So if you put yesterday's water in place of today's new water that you need, that's not a winning formula. If your day gets disrupted, your kid has to come home from school sick, you get sick, impromptu meeting sounds like a real hot lead. You're going to head out. You got to make sure your new calls were taken care of. You can always do your nurture a little bit longer, but new has to happen now. You're always on the hunt. Remember that. So, and that's, again, day 1, day 2 are looking very similar. You're doing a little bit of role play, doing a little bit of the online training. The reading, honestly, should be like in the evening, between 8 to 8, business generating activities, unless you have clients, which working and serving them is a business generating activity. You're going to prepare your dominate your day sheet, right? That should be done before 8 a.m., preferably in the evening, so it's already prepped and you don't have to waste time on it. And if you don't go to work at 8 a.m., you're thinking, well, no, I'm not going to go until 10. Okay, that's fine. But do note, you just crossed off 2 valuable hours out of your day. Make sure dominate your day's done, right? Because now it's getting a little bit more complex from day 1. You're going to have nurtures, follow-ups, notes, CMAs. There's hopefully something you would have done. I would think a good day as a first day of calling, maybe around 100 to 300 phone calls. I don't think you're going to zip through this unless you're used to making calls. And if you are, I think 300 to 500 phone calls if you have 0 clients. So you're going to track your lead generation numbers, right? This is important. You're going to turn in any lead sheets. And when I say turn in, for me, that's really a team activity. For some agents at my brokerage, that would be a specific agent to broker activity for accountability purposes. I would try to find that accountability person for yourself. If not, track it anyway, because when you can add up lead sheets, it's nice to hold a stack of paper that you can go, this is a person that could be making me some money. And then if you're doing all of this correctly, you're already working on this last bullet, which is mastering time blocking, right? We know what's important. We need the faucet to flow every day. I don't care if I got a little bit of water left over from yesterday. If we keep using old water, it's going to get stale and we're not going to be able to use it. You always need to replenish your bucket full of new water. And that's day 2. Again, this stuff is not rocket science. If you're watching this and you go, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. That's all I got to do. I'm going to sell 50 houses doing all this. Well, tell you what, if day 1 and day 2, you made 300 phone calls. So if you make 300 a day and you made 300 yesterday, and if you didn't make 300, make it equal 600 today. Go talk to any other new agent in your market and say, how many people did you prospect in the last 2 days? Most of them are probably going to laugh at you and go, what are you talking about? I've been an agent for 2 days. I just did my agent paperwork and I grabbed lunch with my mom and dad because we're celebrating me getting a state license, which doesn't make anyone any money, right? Let's make some money. I don't know why people aren't more honest about this. If you're not a phone call person, if you notice, I've been really, really focusing in on phone calls. Sub out these phone calls for door knocking. Sub it out for networking activities. You can do all those things. But if you truly, truly want to make sure you're selling 50 homes, you tell me a better way to contact 600 people in 2 days. You're not doing it door knocking. Not doing it with an open house. Not on a Monday, not on a Tuesday. You're not doing it on a Saturday. Even if you did an 8-hour-long open house. There's just no better way to reach out to people. And to get back onto this point, maybe yesterday you called expireds, FSBOs. In the market we're in, it's starting to shift a little bit. There probably isn't a whole lot. You're not going to be able to utilize your whole day on that. Then you're going to call database leads. You're going to call... why is my mind blanking? Isn't that funny? Geo leads, neighborhoods. It's like door knocking without having to deal with elements. It's pretty cool. Do it from the comfort of your own home if you really, really want to. There's an endless... it does not matter. You just got to talk to a lot of people, right? Go to the mall. It sounds stupid, probably because it is. So I probably wouldn't do it. But if you don't like any of my ideas, I'd love to hear one that's better, more effective. So again, you're a new agent. Maybe you don't need to buy leads. So reach out to agents within the brokerage. Find out if there's a way to communicate to the brokerage at large. And just say, hey, I'm a brand new agent. I just got licensed yesterday. I'm wanting to make calls. Does anybody have some leads that are 1 to 2 years old? Or if you even got newer leads that aren't being worked, I would love to work those leads. Every agent's got them if they've ever bought them. Heck, I'd call 5-year-old leads, 20-year-old leads. If the number's good, the number's good. You start your database, right? You're going to take that lead and you're going to update all the info. No, these people are dead. These people changed their phone number. That was the wrong phone number. You're going to start updating your database to reflect a very accurate database for yourself, because older, staler leads are going to have some issues. That's okay. Remember, 0.5% to 1%, you're doing okay. It's a lot of calls you got to make. So I want to wrap it up. I don't want these videos to get too long, and I don't want to ramble. I think those were all important, valid points. I'm trying to think of things that you as a new agent might push back on, and I'm trying to address those for you as if you were here talking to me, and I can squash the BS as to why you shouldn't be making calls. If you think of a reason that you think is valid as to why on your first 2 days you couldn't make, say, between 400 to 600 phone calls, please leave a comment and tell me why I'm wrong, and I will do a video reply, and I won't do it like my TikTok. I won't be a jerk about it. I'll be nice, but I will explain to you why that thought is incorrect. So, with that being said, I'm going to sign out, and hopefully everybody finds this useful. Please subscribe, like, share, definitely comment. Help me with the YouTube algorithms. I'm not getting a whole lot of impressions right now. So, maybe one day. But that's key. Always play the long game.